Alright, hello Reddit. This is a requested video from the Summoner School subreddit. We had some questions about slow pushing, and I'm going to demonstrate the slow push and give a little bit of an explanation of how it works. Now I want to put a disclaimer here. Whenever I use my voice to explain things, I sometimes don't explain it clearly. So there might be some confusing things here and there, but I'll try to keep it as clear as possible. Right now I'm in a loading screen for the practice tool. I'm gonna play Lissandra because Lissandra is one of the biggest slow pushing characters in the game. Just gonna start with a regular normal build. Everything is as usual. The only thing that's missing is other champions and an actual game mode. So first I want to demonstrate the slow push, just to show you exactly how it works. And just imagine that there's like an enemy champion here. A common matchup is Akali, Lissandra. And basically what I'm going to try to do is deny her of as much CS as possible while still harassing her with auto attacks. I'm going to spawn an enemy dummy there. Just imagine that's Akali. Like usual, I'm gonna start by hitting the wave a couple times. I might actually just auto attack the Akali, and now you can see I've got some minion aggro on me. I might actually lose some CS because I'm not focused, but as you can see I've already got a pushing advantage, maybe a little bit too much actually because I autoed Akali as well. But that happens. See, there's the first miss, and already I've got a huge advantage in the slow pushing wave. And look, as right now as I hit level 2, there's this huge wave here. Akali can't really do anything. Basically Akali has to stand back over there and wait for the minion wave to crash in. Now obviously I'm gonna still be missing CS, and as you can see we're gonna have the first crash into the tower. Now this is actually not what I really intended. I went a bit too quick, because usually when you play against a character they actually try to use their ranged abilities to clear waves. For instance, let me just reset the game here. For instance, Akali will use her Q to last hit the first 3 melees usually. So it went a bit quicker than I wanted, so I'm gonna do it a bit slower this time. But I'm gonna do it again. Actually, forgot to buy items here. It doesn't really matter too much, but I want them. This time I'm actually gonna auto attack the wave once. I think that's enough, and I'll just show the slow push and talk about the tower dynamics coming after. Alright, here we go. Auto the wave once. And as soon as this first minion dies, we actually get a pretty weird lane setup here. We'll be starting the slow push. As you can see already I have an advantage because there was some minion RNG going on that, you know, caused the minions to panic a little bit and walk around in circles. There we go. I'm just gonna take it easy. Usually you'll have like an aggressive position around the bushes, so you can put an auto attack on the enemy Akali, and as soon as you auto attack them, go back into the bush to reset aggro, because if you have too much aggro, like you just saw, you'll push too quickly. Alright, as you can see now it's going a lot more slow, and this is a lot better, because the ideal situation is that we slow push along with the cannon wave. Cannon wave is coming, so we'll just wait for the cannon wave. As you can see, there's also already this big lead pushing up. I've got level 2. The enemy probably doesn't have level 2. Maybe I have to count the minions. No, right now they should hit level 2 as soon as that minion dies. So during all this time I'll have the level advantage, XP advantage, after push advantage. If they want to trade with me, they'll take all this minion aggro into their face. So yeah, so that's going to be very bad for them. As you can see, because I'm not fighting any champion and I'm not really casting any abilities, this is actually going even slower. This is even better. But now I actually do want it to crash into the tower because I want to start harassing. So I'm going to put a dummy there. Just imagine that's like an Aatrox or an Akali or something trying to farm this wave, right? So look at all these minions he needs to get. This is my time where I can start simply harassing him on the tower while he's trying to farm the minions, right? Like that. Now obviously I do actually have to pay attention to the minions. I do want to keep harassing him and farming at the same time. But as you can see, the next wave already is crashing into this tower. We've been at this tower for already like 20 seconds. I've had all this free time to keep auto-attacking him, to keep CSing for free, and he has to, you know, he's still busy farming on the turret. He has to get these. He actually has to move a lot more up like that to get those minions, so I can even, you know, more freely harass him under this, under his tower. And as soon as the wave comes again, at this point it will just start pushing towards you again. It's actually quite okay because after the slow push you'll probably have like jungler attention coming to your lane, so you can play a bit more safe. This is usually the time when in matchups like Aatrox Victor, Aatrox actually has a little bit of an edge because he doesn't have the pressure of the slow pushing wave onto him. But now, yeah, it really depends on what happens in the wave and what happens in the lane that causes all this to happen. But basically that's the basic premise of slow pushing the wave. I can do a little bit of a quick recap. Just reset the game again. What we're going to do is we're going to auto attack the wave once or twice. It really depends on what your enemy laner does. Maybe he actually hits the wave a couple times. That means you have to hit the wave as well. Make sure you've got about like 1 minion, 2 minions, 3 minions of a pushing advantage at the first wave. If you're the first person to kill the first minion, that means you're going to probably have a minion pushing advantage. And just make sure that you always have more minions than the other person. In free matchups like Lissandra Akali in the early game, you can usually just harass them as they are trying to CS as well. And stay around these bushes so you can reset the aggro of the minions. And simply slow push the wave into them. As soon as the wave is into their tower, use the time to harass them on the tower. I can just demonstrate that real quick for no reason. Just use the time to harass them on the tower. Get them low. There's no reason not to. As soon as they're low, usually after this huge slow push, you've got about like, they have to usually pop their potion and they usually have to, yeah, I mean, they're usually low health, around half HP. So that's already really big. Now, I'm saying all this in a Lissandra situation, right? If you're a melee character, like say, I don't know, Renekton. If you're a Renekton slow pushing the wave, you probably won't have the luxury of harassing them on the tower like this. Maybe just a little bit if there's like, if this is the minion wave, right? You can usually time it with the cannon shot and sometimes like throw a Q out like that and walk out quick enough so you don't get any damage back. But if you cannot harass them on the tower, simply use this time to walk down to the river. Place your ward down if you have to, or place it right here, whatever, doesn't really matter, depends on the jungler. And walk around to see if you can help your jungler. Usually if your jungler starts red buff and usually does something like, I don't know, like red buff, raptors, wolves, blue, they might be around the Skull Crab around the time that you'll be crashing the wave. Which means that you probably want to help your jungler 1v1 or 2v1 the enemy jungler. So, you know, there's all kinds of things that you can do whenever the wave is pushed into them, because they can't leave the wave and you've got all the time in the world. If they leave the wave, they'll lose CS and then you'll just win the lane. So in melee matchups you might want to roam during the slow push, but still the basic idea is there. You're trying to slow push to get a health advantage and to get a CS advantage as well. And even if you've got this huge wave like last time, I managed to get 4 waves into the tower. Usually you only get 3 waves, so the cannon wave crashes into the tower. If you manage to get 4 waves, then you can actually just take the first plate as well. I mean, you're not going to do it. I'm not going to do any damage because there's no minions nearby, but you're probably going to be able to take the first plate, especially with Demolish. So that's if you have 4 minion waves into the tower. You got 160 gold. That's another like 28. Hold on, I can't math. Yeah, 8 CS that you're getting. A full wave. So all these kinds of things you can do with slow push. It's really nice to do. Once the slow push has hit the tower, it will come back towards you. This is called bouncing. You probably heard of it. Once it bounces back towards you, it really depends on what the matchup is. But if you're still winning the matchup, you can thin out the minion wave by hitting the minions a couple times. Actually, I can demonstrate the freezing as well. Let me just oh, is it now disabled? Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay, here come the minions. Okay, so what will happen is the minion wave will be situated right around here, right? This is where the minion wave will be. We saw this in the first example as well. And right now, as soon as the enemy wave comes back in, the enemy wave will start hitting earlier, which means that the wave will be pushing towards you. Now, if you still have a winning matchup and you can still bully the enemy laner out of his lane, then simply use this time to make sure you can set up a nice little freeze. You can do this by you know, keeping around 3 or 4 caster minions in your wave, in your lane. I mean, the enemy caster minions in your lane every time. So for instance, right now you can see there's already his minions already pushing up a little bit. Right now he's got 2 more casters than I do, and it will just continue slow pushing towards me. This is actually going quite slow. It's called a slow push for a reason. Basically they have to slow push now, right? But this doesn't matter for you if you have the winning matchup. Because yeah, I mean, they can't really harass you in the tower because you'll win the trade anyway. So keep your eyes on these minions and keep looking at what they do. So basically now they should start grouping up on my side. As you can see, now I'm safe from the enemy jungler. But now you can see that they have 5 caster minions. That's actually quite a lot. If those caster minions start hitting your minions too quickly and killing your minions too quickly, you will have to tank all those minions to put them in front of your tower. So always try to thin out the wave if you feel like that it's pushing too fast. Like right now it's pushing way too fast, so I have to throw a bit of a Q out. That's fine. It's fine to use some mana on the wave. Throw this Q as well. And as you can see, we're back at a normal freeze. And just be careful with the minions. So this is if you're in a winning matchup, right? If you're in a losing matchup, after you've slow pushed in, like there's situations where you win the matchup level 1, but you lose it level 3. It's usually with Aatrox matchups. Yeah, Aatrox usually gets his power spike at level 3. Riven matchups as well. So then you just need to let the wave slow push into you and farm on the tower again. Like, that's unfortunate that you have to farm on the tower, but that's how it is. You just try to build up a big lead in the early game and hope you can compensate in the level 3 phase. I think that's all I wanted to say. Yeah, I think that's all. That's it. I think there's. I think right now you should have an idea of what slow pushing is and how to do it and why to do it. And I gave you a little bit of an example. If there's anything like based on questions or requests for more videos, then I'll make them for you, and I'll be uploading them during this week or maybe the next. I'm actually quite busy this week. So hope you learned something, and good luck in your games.